What's good, YouTube? It's me, Cody, back in another video. So Revolution Synchron is literally just around the corner in Duelist Nexus, and people are overhyping the crap out of this card, okay? There are a lot of different decks out there, a lot of different tier limits, synchro decks. There's even a deck that can make Archfiend Calamity Dragon on your opponent's turn, which skips your opponent's turn effectively. I've watched a lot of combos based on that. However, that combo plays a lot of bricks that you just don't want to play. In this current format, there's no chance that we can play all those bricks and expect to do well across a 12-round tournament. Every inch of space counts in the deck, especially to be able to play non-engine going second, which is why I was playing around a little bit with the combos, but I discovered this combo that is actually, in my opinion, a lot better, that involves Rite of Aramis and Revolution Synchron, which allows you to end on multiple negates, rip 2 cards out of your opponent's hand, and search in Ash Blossom, which is absolutely nuts. So without further ado, let's quickly dive in and take a look at how this is possible. All you need is a Rite of Aramis and a Revolution Synchron, and we're going to start off just standard plays here, activating Rite, putting on the token, going to activate Fateful Adventure from deck. We're going to normal summon the Revolution Synchron here. It's very important that we normal it because we do need the level 3 body tuner right now. Add Drinkleback on Fateful, use the effect of Fateful to add Wanderer Griffin Rider, and then here we're going to discard the equip, obviously equipping it back to the token, but we want to be a little lazy here for the purposes of the demo. Special summoning out Rite because we control that adventure token, or Griffin rather. We're going to synchro the level 7 Griffin with the level 3 Revolution Synchron to get into Baron de Fleur before 5 summons, so we're protected from Nibiru and also any hand traps that could prevent us from resolving a junk speeder. But before that, we're going to use the effect of Revolution Synchron, which is once per duel, in the graveyard, the glow bubble-like effect to mill the top card of our deck. And then from here, we are going to have this treated as a level 1 Revolution Synchron, along with our level 4 token, which we can synchro off into our level 5 junk speeder, which says if this card is synchro summoned, you can special summon as many Synchron tuners as possible with different levels from your deck in defense position. So we're going to go ahead and summon out the entire family of Synchrons. You can see here that we're playing multiple Jet Synchrons and also Assault Synchron, which is a great addition, other copy of Revolution Synchron, and of course the Stardust Synchron, which is a very crucial card in this current combo and deck. And I'll show you guys why right now, because what happens is on the summon of Stardust Synchron, if this card is special summoned or normaled, you can add one spell or trap from your deck to your hand that mentions Stardust Dragon. So we are going to go ahead and add the Stardust Illumination, and trust me guys, I tested out a bunch of ways to forego playing the Stardust Illumination because these cards are bricks, but unfortunately there's just no easy way to get meat onto the body, get meat onto the board to use as non-tuner bodies. You're just flooded with tuners, believe it or not. It's crazy. And you do require non-tuners to be able to synchro and play your combos. So unfortunately, for the purposes of this combo, we do have to play those bricks. Now, if you guys can discover a way where we can forego playing those bricks, I'm all ears. But for now, we are going to go ahead and link off, or rather synchro off the Jet Synchron and the Jet Speeder into a copy of Stardust Charge Warrior. You can also play the Tri-Edge card, which pops a card, but I would rather draw a card when going first, drawing into our non-engines, drawing into our extenders, whatever else we can possibly afford to see. So, as you can see here, we drew an extra card. We have Stardust Illumination. We're going to synchro off the Assault Synchron as well as the Stardust Charge Warrior to go into XL Stardust Synchro Dragon, which is a crucial component in every synchro deck, as you guys already know by now. Using the effect to target the Assault Synchron to bring him back in defense position, and then we are going to activate our Stardust Illumination, and because we control a Stardust card in the form of XL Synchro Stardust Dragon, we can special summon a Stardust monster from our deck. So we're going to go ahead and special summon out our Stardust Trail, which is also another crucial component of the deck, but also somewhat of a brick. Unfortunately, you don't probably really want to draw her. But right now, we are going to see her hit the table, and then we're going to link off the Stardust Synchron and the Trail, or Synchro rather. I just keep getting excited for Link monsters. Okay, we're going to make a Stardust Dragon, traditional Stardust Dragon. It's very important that we go into a Stardust Synchro, because Stardust Trail has the effect where if a Stardust Synchro monster is synchro summoned using this card as material, you can summon out one Stardust token, a level 1 Dragon Light, which is quite nice because 1 plus 3 in the form of our current Revolution Synchron on the board gives us a level 4 Herald of the Arclight, which is another Omni-Negate. So now we're seeing 2 Omni-Negates. And again, guys, we do currently have 4 cards in hand because we started off this combo with 3 cards. We used 2 cards out of our 5-card hand, leaving us 3. We drew a card off of the Stardust Charge Warrior, which is the 4th card currently in our hand. So, from here, everything seems fine and dandy, no hand traps, nothing we can negate with Baron yet. We're going to synchro off the Stardust Dragon and the Assault Synchron to go into our Bestial Dissipator, which is another crucial component in this opening play. This card is absolutely broken, and you guys are going to see why in 1 second. Now we're going to use the effect of Stardust Synchron to tribute the Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon to bring him back from the graveyard. He has an effect while it's in the hand or graveyard. You can tribute 1 monster as a cost, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you cannot special summon except for Synchros for the rest of the turn. So from there, we trigger the other effect of Stardust Trail in the graveyard, which says, if a monster you control is tributed, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. So now we're just getting really meaty, and we're going to chain the effect of Assault Synchron, which reads, if a face-up dragon synchro monster you control is tributed or banished, which it currently got tributed, you can banish this card from your graveyard, and then target one of those monsters, special summon it. So we get a free XL Synchro Stardust Dragon back on the table, as well as a Stardust Trail, and you can kind of see where this combo is going. It's gonna go pretty well for us and not well for our opponent, because we're gonna link off the Stardust Trail and the Stardust Synchron into our copy of Psyframe Lord Omega. And you can see here we currently have Psyframe Lord Omega as well as Bestial Dissipator on the table. So this is gonna get very, very ugly for them. Now we're gonna use the effect to rip out a card from our opponent's hand at random using the effect of Psyframe Lord Omega. And then we're gonna use the effect of Dissipator to target a banished light or dark monster in the form of our Psyframe Lord Omega that just got banished. And because Psyframe Lord Omega is actually not a hard once per turn, we can use this effect again to rip out another card from our opponent's hand. So we are going to go ahead and do that. And now our opponent has 3 cards in their hand out of their 5-card hand. We have 2 Omni-Negates, but we're not done there yet. We have Jet Synchron in the graveyard, so we can go ahead and discard the card that we drew or another card in our hand to summon back the Jet Synchron from our graveyard, because that's his effect. You can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. We're going to use our XL Synchro Stardust Dragon as well as the Jet Synchron to link Synchro off into a level 9 monster here. And this card, Chaofeng, Phantom of the Yangzing, is a forgotten monster that was previously seen a lot in Sword Soul, but it's actually very, very crazy in this combo, especially because he has the effect when this synchro summon card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, including our own card effects, you can add 1 tuner from your deck to your hand. So we can go ahead and use the effect of Baron de Fleur to pop our own card, popping the Chaofeng, which triggers in the graveyard, allowing us to add a tuner, which Ash Blossom happens to be. So now you can see that in this combo, we're still with 4 cards in hand, including an Ash Blossom, and we ripped out 2 cards out of your opponent's hand. They're left with 3 cards, drawing to 4. We have multiple Omni-Negates. We have Baron de Fleur, Herald of the Arclight, and we have Bestial Dissipator to continue negating our opponent's card effects. So they're essentially playing 4 cards against our 4 cards currently on the table and in the hand, in addition to 3 other cards in our hand. So if you guys had other extenders, we could have put up even more negates, which is absolutely crazy. So I'm just demonstrating like how impactful, I guess, Right and Revolution Synchron is. As you can see, we ripped out 2 cards on their hands. It's really, really crazy. Now, another thing to note is if we happen to draw Ash Blossom already in the combo, instead of making Chaofeng, what we can actually make is the Ravenous Croc Dragon, which allows you to draw a card for every non-tuner card that you use to synchro summon it. So you would be able to draw an additional card, putting you at 5 cards in hand. And Ravenous Croc Dragon actually does have the additional effect where you can discard 2 cards in order to pop a monster on your opponent's side of the field. And this happens to actually be a quick effect, which is really, really nice. So it would put an additional disruption on the board. We would have 5 in hand in top of the Ash Blossom that we already hard drew. So that's another option that you guys can certainly explore as well. And just to show you guys that it's not a one-trick pony relying on specific 2 cards, you can actually do this with Right as well as Jet Synchron, which is more or less the same combo. I'll show you guys a part of it, and then you can do the rest because it's mostly the same combo. And I don't want this video to get too long, but essentially you would normal summon the Jet Synchron, use the effect of Fateful Adventure in order to add. And then from here, instead of adding the Wanderer Griffin Rider, what you can actually do is add a Water Enchantress of the Temple, which allows herself to be special summoned out while you control an Adventure token. From here, here, instead of making Baron de Fleur, what you can actually do is use the level 1 Jet Synchron with the level 3 to make a copy of Herald of the Arc Light. From here, you would be forced to discard another card. So unfortunately, this does require another card to send in order to bring back the Jet Synchron. Just one thing to note. And also, because you use Jet Synchron here early, we're not going to be able to go into the Ravenous Croc Dragon or the Chao Fang in order to add the copy of Ash Blossom. So that's one thing to note. But from here, you can still go with the token with the Jet Synchron in order to go into your Junk Speeder. So you're more or less getting the same combo that still rips too, but you're just going to be short that extra level 9, which allows you to either search the Ash or go into Ravenous Croc Dragon. And it does require another card to discard off of the Jet Synchron. So just bear in mind that. I'm sure there are ways to optimize it even with Jet Synchron, but I haven't had the time to really explore that as of now. I just really wanted to pump out a combo using the Revolution Synchron first, but you can see here that this typically ends more or less in the same board. So from here, it's kind of your sandbox and you can play around to determine how you end with this combo. So this is sort of the deck recipe that I put together. It's very bare bones just for the purpose of the combo. I would love to see this get innovated even further. So if you guys have an opportunity to test it, definitely do. And let me know if there are any crazy combos. But essentially, we're just playing, as you can see, one copy of Ash. Decided to side the 2 copies because I'm not sure how impactful it is in a combo heavy deck like this. You probably want to play more heavy board breakers and high impact 1-ofs, because chances are you're probably going to see one non-engine with a 4-card engine hand. So that non-engine has to be as impactful as possible. And of course, Ash Blossom being searchable off of the Chao Fang, which we demonstrated in the first combo, is the reason that you would play one copy of Ash. I also think that other non-engine high impact cards like Drone Lockbird are especially good in this upcoming format after Duelist Nexus is released, because a lot of combo decks are seeing a resurgence and people are going to be testing a lot of combo decks, and it's not too bad against Cashier. You can sometimes catch them off guard as well, which is why I also like Nibiru, because I feel like this is another high impact card. And you can see here, we are actually testing out Reborn Tengu, because this is a card that pairs very well with the Revolution Synchron when you're able to normal summon it, and even drawing it off of your draw cards, whether that's like Formula Synchron, Hyper Librarian, or the traditional Stardust Charge Warrior, will allow us to potentially make an Ancient Fairy Dragon, which can, during our main phase, special summon a level 4 or lower monster from our hand, meaning that it's not always dead. Even if we draw into it later on, we can just bring it out with Ancient Fairy Dragon, which is equally cool, and continue to extend with our combos. So this is the reason why I want to test this card out. I think you could also test the Baby Dragons potentially with Chaos Space, or even like the Super Heavy Samurais if you're very, very bold and looking for a dashing amount of cool techs. And you can see here we're maxing out a Revolution Synchron. This one I think is the best one, but we're just playing 2 of the other ones. 2 Jet Synchron, 2 Assault Synchron, and then 1 Stardust Synchron, which I don't find particularly good just because of the fact that you have to tribute a card. However, it does also pair with Reborn Tengu. If you happen to hard draw this, it instantly allows you to go into any level 8, but unfortunately there will be no level 2 or lower to bring back with the Exo Stardust Synchro Dragon. So it's just one thing to note. Unfortunately, we are playing the Stardust Trail as well as the copy of Stardust Illumination. I feel like these are needed, again, in order to get the non-tuner meat onto the board to continue cooking with. And we are testing out Illusion of Chaos as well as Magician of Souls, which pairs very well with the Adventure Engine and also allows it to draw dead spell cards like Dark Ruler No More, which is another non-engine high-impact card that I decided to play. So maybe you guys could play more of these if you find a way to play fit room and fit these guys in, but I feel like they're not that great, especially against Cached Hero when you're going second. Obviously, Magicians of Souls is a cost to be able to special summon this by dumping to the graveyard from deck a spellcaster level 6 or higher, so it's not that good in my opinion, but I think they're still very, very good as is, so 2 copies is quite enough. Obviously, maxing out on Wanderer Enchantress and then the Wanderer Griffin Rider, you could choose to play Illegal Light if you want to, but I didn't think that we don't want to play bricks, right? We want to maximize the cards that are actually relevant to our combos. If we can get a half decent combo like we did in the first video, just off 1 or 2 cards, then that's enough. The rest of the room should be allocated towards non-engine. There's just no way that we're going to survive by playing like 6 non-engine cards. We have to maximize non-engine in a combo deck like this in the upcoming format so we can go second against the other combo decks and whatever decks happen to be out there, right? So I chose to play Book of Moon because I feel like this is a very, very good card that can be used proactively and also reactively, defensively as a non-engine card when your opponent tries to break your board, or offensively against something like an A-Rise, start turning it off. Same thing with Dark Ruler, it's just high impact, and I think this deck, combo decks definitely do need high impact cards. One copy of Dracoback, Fateful, Standard. Foolish Burial is very, very nice in this deck because it's basically a copy of every extender in your deck. 1-for-1 allows you to actually summon out the Jet Synchron or potentially the Magicians of Souls to continue drawing cards and extending your play. So I like how you have that option, which is the reason why I chose to play this card. 3 right, Stardust Illumination, as we went over already, kind of like a brick. And then Synchro Overtake is interesting because this card allows you to reveal a Synchro monster in your extra deck, choose one of the materials mentioned on it, and add it to your hand or special summon it. So in our case, the only target is Jet Warrior, which reveals the Jet Synchron to be able to summon it from the deck to be able to do your combos without wasting your normal summon, which I think is really, really nice. Again, we are playing 1-for-1 over the 3rd copy of Synchro Overtake just because it has the additional option to bring out Magician's Souls. But if you guys decide that Synchro Overtake is just such a good card, then potentially we can bump it up to 3 or none at all if it's bad. Side deck is pretty standard. I think the Bystials have a very good argument to be in this deck because 6+4 is easily made into a Baron de Fleur or a Bystial Dispatter. Also just giving you bodies, like free meat to cook with, to be able to synchro with on your turn. And it's very good against dragons, good against tiers, good against a lot of other decks in the format. So maybe we could even bump up Magnum up to 3 because it's such a broken card. I honestly think this card should be at 1 or banned, guys. Back row removal, obviously generic. Dimensional Barrier, I think is very good against Purelees, which will be a very popular deck. And then Thrust, I actually think is a really, really impactful card going second in this format because you're able to search a lot of things. A lot of cards are reactive. A lot of Shangri-Las will be activated in standby. A lot of Purelees will be activated in standby to draw cards. And then your Thrust is live, allowing you to search cards like Dark Ruler No More or even Rite of Arameser to extend and instantly go into your combos. Alternatively, you do have cards like Synchro Overtake, Foolish Burial, so on and so forth. I decided the triple deck is talent, but you guys can play other things. Extra deck is very, very open right now. It's a big sandbox. You guys can definitely make this better. XL Stardust, Ancient Fairy, obviously Baron, Dissipator, these are generic. Chowfang to be able to search a copy of the Ash Blossom, which is really nice. It could also search Bell as well, so that's just one thing you can consider. Or if there are other good hand trap tuners that we can search, potentially that is another option. You could search something like a Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries against a mirror match, for example, to hit their Junk Speeder. Also, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, just generically good to be able to be made into off of Revolution Synchron very easily, and a level 4 body. Herald of the Arclight, Jet Warrior for the reveal. We're playing Omega for the Rip 2, Charged Warrior. You could also play the Tri-Edge Master as well, potentially. I just like this card better because it draws a card on the first turn. Stardust Dragon, which is mandatory to be able to go into our combo, as well as potentially go into XL Stardust Dragon's effect to be able to make a copy of Junk Speeder that can be protected by any hand traps, because you can use the effect of XL Stardust Synchro to distribute itself, special out Stardust, and then synchro monsters using monsters you control, but you do not have to use the Stardust you bring out, so you can actually use your level 1 and 4 to make Junk Speeder, and then Junk Speeder would be unaffected by your opponent's activated effects, so it's really, really nice for that reason. And then Hyper Librarian, I think, is decently good in Formula Synchron. And then Ravenous Crocodile Dragon, which we talked about previously. If you happen to hard open the Ash in that combo I showed you, then you can actually go into Ravenous Crocodile Dragon, draw a card, and also have the quick effect to discard 2 cards as an interaction on your opponent's turn. So yeah, that's about it. A little bit of a long video, but if you guys like this, definitely rate, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you have any tips for this deck and any other cool combos. Other than that, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.